concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
Oh. Lean in, baby. Lean in. I'm sorry. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Duck my squee FPV is digging my mechanical keyboard with that blue enter key. Interestingly, the name of the keyboard is the Ducky. So duck my squee, you know, Ducky. So welcome to the live stream, everybody. Shoot, you know what, I just realized I screwed up. Welcome to the live stream, because check this out. Because right now, let me fix that. I don't know why that's like that. That shouldn't be like that. Right now, on the bench is another JBQAVS freestyle build. This one with the set of Bob Ruge's Imperial motors that he sent me. And he asked that I give him some feedback on them. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. You know, but obviously I got a lot of stuff to do. And he was like, hey, you got that feedback for me? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I need you to test these motors because I have literally all my money tied up in this order. I was like, oh, I see. This is actually urgent. And I said, well, I don't know. I got a lot going on, Bob. I may not be able to build another one soon. And I said, maybe if you need it urgently, I could send it to somebody else. And he said, sure. Yeah, just name the person. And then I went, and I want to keep them. So basically, I have to finish building this quadcopter, or I have to send it to Ciati. That's what it boils down to. Hello. That's what it boils down to. And I started building it last night. I was like, hey, I know what I'll do. I'll finish building it on the stream. I'll just do a little building stream. I don't do that often. But I didn't go get my laptop. I got to get my phone. I got to be able to monitor the chats and the super chats, right? Otherwise, what am I doing? So we'll figure that out. But sorry, Ciati. I mean, I at least started building it. But we're going to go ahead and start the stream off the normal way. With you looking at my beautiful face. Hello, Jem Fan Hobby. Good to have you here. With you looking at my beautiful face and listening to my beautiful... The motors, Frank. The motors. I was going to send the motors to Ciati and he was going to build them out. That is like literally the last set of Imperial motors in the world. In the world, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. That's it. So I guess the least I could do is test it for Bob. We got a little... It's a little... That's the low color setting that I use so I could do a color grade. It looks a little washed out for live streaming, though. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do some building. Maybe I'll skip that and I'll just do it after you guys let you guys go. But did I get a haircut? I mean, I cut my own hair. I cut my hair. I'm falling under the I can't go bald if I shave my head school of hair management. Many years ago, I switched to clipping my own hair. Got a short haircut because I don't know. I just got tired of good haircuts. So it's like, fine, I'll just cut my own hair, and I just buzzed it all off. And now the problem is it grows out quickly. And so now I'm not shaving with a razor, but yeah. So here's what we're doing. Welcome to the stream, you guys. Good to see you in the chat. I got you guys up here on my monitor, on my main screen. Yeah, over here on the left is the YouTube chat. Right here. I'll be taking your questions. What do you think now about the sense of buying Immersion RC Ghost if there's competition in the form of Express LRS? Asks Luca Live. I'll go ahead and answer that question in just a second. That's how it's going to work. Although if I go over to the bench and start building, I'll be answering fewer of your questions. Because I'll be too busy building. But when will Vistas be available, says Diamond. A couple months. At least a month is what I'm hearing. Yeah. So you guys can ask questions. If I miss your question, go ahead and hit the $sign right down here. Leave a super chat. That'll pull those questions out right here. And, make sure I get them. And then also, just take a second here to say thank you to these beautiful people over in my Discord server. I do have a Discord server. And these guys are my patrons. That's how you get access to the Discord server. You can hang out with them. Great place to be on the internet. You know how some places where on the internet are really terrible and awful, and there's terrible people there who make you feel bad and wish that you were not there? My Discord server is the opposite of that, and these beautiful people are part of the reason why. The main reason why. So let's take that question. What do you think about buying Immersion RC Ghost if there's competition in the form of Express LRS? the difference between Ghost and Express LRS, and let's throw Tracer in there as well. TBS Tracer, Ghost, and Express LRS all have extremely low latency in the range of 5 to 8 milliseconds. At which point, I think it's valid to ask, who cares? It's nice as a sort of a willy-waggling one-upsmanship contest to say, oh, so-and-so has the lowest latency. Or so-and-so has the most consistent latency. But realistically, they're all really low latency, and I doubt many people would be able to tell the difference. So, and frankly, for most of us, Tracer, Ghost, and ELRS are also going to give more range than we need. Some of them give more range than others. Probably going to give more range than we need, most of them. Tracer has less range, but outputs 1 watt. Ghost uses low RA instead of FLRC. It only outputs 350 milliwatts, but it can low RA is more sensitive. And then Express LRS does low RA as well and has other sort of tricks up its sleeve. So they all offer excellent range and they all offer excellent latency for the majority of people. At which point, what should make the difference between what you buy? And this gets back to the question of, is there a point in getting Immersion RC Ghost and now that Express LRS is here? Because, like, Ghost is a much more polished product, for example. The Ghost firmware updater is a lot easier for a typical, less technical person to use. Whereas Express LRS, there are still some hurdles to jump through in order to get it working, even if you buy a pre-flashed receiver from Happy Model and a pre-flashed module from Happy Model. So yeah, there's still going to be tons of people who buy Ghost, right? There's tons of people out there who buy freezer meals. It's cheaper and it tastes better if you make your own food. Prep those vegetables. Get out your knife. Start prepping vegetables. Not everybody wants to do that. So yeah, there's totally a place. None of these are going to put the other out of existence. That's what I would say. Brutus says, I'm brand new to the hobby. I jumped straight on Express LRS. It was not nearly as daunting as people made it sound. Good for you. Yeah, it's going to be fine. If you're reasonably technical, if you have some experience with computers, you're going to be okay with Express LRS. Other people will absolutely struggle. They will absolutely struggle. There's no question. TJ Richardson left a $10 super chat and says, best lip sync on your mic to the song. I'm going to assume you meant you wanted me to slurp my drink. Thank you for that super chat, TJ. Dan Z, thanks for a $2 super chat. Is there a way to use a momentary switch as push on off? Yes, there is, Dan. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. How to turn a momentary into a 2 position. Yeah, that's probably it. Hang on, I'm looking up this video. Yep, that's it. It can be done. Yeah, let me give you this thread. I'm not going to read the whole thread, but Dan Z, check out this thread. It looks like it's somebody asking that exact question. It can be done with logical switches and sticky switches. So, Bubby is here. Welcome back, Bubby. People in the chat before the stream started were calling me, FPV, the FPV mom, and I'm like, no. Bubby's mom is the FPV mom. She is everyone's FPV mom. You could say I'm a FPV dad if you want, but no one can take the crown from her. And if she's the FPV mom and I'm the FPV dad, what is that? Does that mean I'm Bubby's stepfather, FPV stepfather? No, it's getting weird. Let's just not go there. I'll just be the know-it-all, and we'll leave it at that. Diamond, thank you for a $3 super chat and the fist bump. Ron Vicaros asks, is it worth it to mount T-style antennas out the back on a 3D print versus mounting them on the arms? Ron, I think they're a little more durable out the back on a 3D print, and I just think that when they're out on the end of the arm, they tend to get broken more. Rob Schlicht says Painless 360 has a video about turning OpenTX on off. Let's see if I can find that for you. Painless 360. How am I going to search? I don't know how I'm going to search for this. Overriding channel values on a switch. One switch for 3 functions. This may be tricky. I'm not sure how I can find that. Is it one switch for 3 functions? I don't know. That's tricky. No, I believe he's done it, but I can't find it quickly, so yeah. People are asking me to react to Johnny's latest video. Did you guys see Johnny's latest video? Jesus. Johnny FPV. I have always... Here's what I'll say. Well, I'll react. Maybe I'll react to it a little later in the stream. I don't want to just dive right into a react right out the gate. But I've always wondered about Johnny, how much of what he does is technical wizardry and how much of it is pure flying skills. I honestly miss the days when Johnny just sort of flew freestyle. He was an insane freestyle pilot. And every time I saw him fly, I was like, whoa, this dude is on another level. He is out ahead of, that was the name of the music he used. He is out ahead of everybody else doing something. And many of the tricks that we sort of take for granted now, the juicy style tricks, he just was like the first one to do them. Yeah, Johnny, there was a time when he was pure freestyle, but there were always questions about how he accomplished some of the things he accomplished. Like, people were like, oh, is he using stabilization? And, you know, if he does or if he doesn't matter. He's a great pilot. And these days, you've got pilots who embrace stabilization. They say, look, that's just the style I'm going for. At least you're honest about it. But I've always wondered about Johnny. I'd watch his videos and I'm like, there's some stuff going on in the editing booth. Like, I feel like there's some stuff going on. I don't even remember details about what I was looking at. And people would ask him, hey, Johnny, how do you get those sick color grades? And he'd just be like, oh, I just pull it into Premiere and I do a little exposure and, then we're all good to go. And I'd be like, I feel like you're underselling it, Johnny. He's always felt really cagey to me. Like, there's people out there who just want to give you all the secrets. That's their shtick, is they just want to share all the information so that you can get better, and they have nothing to hide. And he's always felt more like, you know how Eddie Van Halen invented tapping? Well, I mean, some people argue that he certainly popularized tapping in the rock and electric industry, if not invented. And when he first invented it, when he played, he would turn around so his back was to the audience, and he would tap because he didn't want people to know how he was making the guitar do what it was doing. It was a secret. Johnny's always felt that way to me. Like, there's stuff going on, and even when he's got these behind the scenes videos that he's talking about how they did what they did. It always feels like he's not really giving you the full story, and that's his prerogative. That's his prerogative. He's not obligated to do it. But I do believe he got those shots. I do believe those shots are legit. But anyway, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, his latest vid is a BTS, says Right9. Shows how it was done. But does it? It really doesn't. Like, the 3 things in his latest vid are, we used a slow-mo camera. Really? Oh, that's interesting. I never would have guessed. And we had to decide between 480 frames per second and 1400 frames per second, and we chose 480. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sure. So he's giving you a little bit. But you watch that video, there's a lot going on there. Yeah, WKFPV says, he told us about the electrical tape. But the electrical tape thing, I'm not convinced it wasn't just a giant troll. I'm not convinced the electrical tape thing wasn't a giant troll between him and Willie. The thing is, I have total respect. I mean, respect. How could you not have respect for what he does? Yeah, how could you not have respect for what he does? But he doesn't really give away his secrets. And he's at the absolute top of the game. So maybe he shouldn't. Right? He's at the absolute top of the game. Anyway. We'll take a look at that video a little later in the stream. Diamond, got you for $3. TJ Richardson, thank you for $5. Another $5 just to say hi to Bubby. What's up, little brother? Magicians never reveal their tricks, right? Says B-Man FPV. Well, I mean, like, there's guys out there like Captain Disillusion. If you don't know who he is on YouTube, look up Captain Disillusion. His whole shtick is taking hoaxes and deconstructing them and showing how they could be done. Look at guys like Corridor Crew, Corridor Digital. They're a computer visual effects house in LA. They have a YouTube channel, and part of what they do is they show how they do what they do. And even magicians like Penn and Teller sometimes will say, I'm going to show you how this trick is done so you have a better understanding of how magic works, right? So there is a perspective where you keep your stuff close to the vest and you don't reveal your secrets. There are also perspectives where, bringing other people up with you is another way to go. But the big thing that always rubbed me just a little wrong was that I never felt he was being completely straightforward. I specifically remember this one forum post. I don't remember where it was. Somebody asked him about his color grade. And he was very casual. He's like, just a little exposure, a little saturation. And I'm like, shut up. That is not... look at your videos. A professional colorist is coloring these videos. There is no damn way that is just straight out of the GoPro. I'm not even convinced you're using a GoPro, I thought. I felt he was being a little disingenuous. And, he has the right to keep his secrets, but I felt he was being a little disingenuous there. So, there you go. Beef. Now there's beef. JB and Johnny FPV. Now there's beef. No, there's no beef. There's no beef. He's an amazing pilot. Johnny, give me a freestyle edit, buddy. Like, you fucking blow my... Pardon me. Apologies, parents. You freaking blow my brains out. Twice a year, you release a freaking sick edit that just pushes the limits of what everyone has seen, and can I just get one? Just stick a GoPro on a 5-inch and go rip a fucking build. Pardon me. I'm getting carried away. Johnny, please, just give me a freestyle edit, dude. Just give me a freestyle edit. Do it for me, Johnny. Okay. Argle Bargle, thank you for 10 Canadian dollars. Do you know if OSD chips are interchangeable from one board to another? I think they're all the same chip. Yes, sir. I do believe that they are. Not 100% sure, but I do believe that they are. Right 9, thank you for 210 Australian. Yeah, his BTS wasn't really a BTS. There was a little detail there. Like, I didn't know what camera he used. It's cool that he revealed what slow-mo camera they used. I didn't know that, and Tech Time, thank you for a $5 super chat. Did you know in 2014 there was a TED Talk about the same thing that Terry paid those guys to make, did it with 8 motors? Tech Time, I did know that, but it's not the same thing. As soon as I announced the linchpin contest, everyone sent me that TED Talk. The TED Talk is not what Terry was asking for. That TED Talk does have a multi-rotor that rotates to any orientation. That is true. but Terry specifically wanted it to be in the shape of the linchpin. Why? I don't know. It's his deal. It's his project. It's his money. Everyone says, oh, this has done this before. Yes, there has been a rotating multi-rotor before, but not one in the shape of the linchpin. And as you saw from my interview with Quick Flash, with Kevin Plaisir, that added a whole lot of complexity. When you have the motors in the shape of a cube, you can assume that all of the motors are at 90 degrees to each other, and that that the two motors are opposing each other. Once you make it a linchpin, it gets way more complicated. Okay. Vladimir Kovalenko, thank you for a $10 super chat. I exploded my ProTech 35 ESC and I didn't save the factory settings prior to that. The good news is that most ESCs, you just run on the default settings. It's fine. Could someone share a screenshot with the factory setup? Especially, it probably is just the default settings. I mean, it's possible they've tweaked PWM, it's possible they've tweaked the settings, but it probably will fly on defaults. It's not like Betaflight where you might have custom PIDs that really make a big difference. So, okay. So let's look at it. Am I going to get like I mean, surely I'm not going to get a copyright strike for this, right? I mean, it's a commercial. They want people to see it. And I'm reacting. So that doesn't count, right? You're allowed to react. I think for the sake of not risking a copyright strike, I am not going to play the music. We're just going to look at the flying. I know it would be fair use, but that doesn't mean you won't get a copyright strike because YouTube anyway, because YouTube. That's all you really need to say. So let's make sure we're muted here and that the sound is not going over, but let's take a look here. Now, if you haven't seen this, sheesh, you're about to get your freaking mind blown. I know the music fits well, but I'm not going to play copyrighted music on my stream and risk getting a strike or risk getting demonetized. Sorry, guys. If you want the music, definitely just go watch it over. Just definitely go watch it on Johnny's channel. So we come in. We're just going to hang on a second. How can I need my face to react. Oh, there we go. Now we can react. Now we're reacting, boys. We're reacting. So we come in with this shot, beautiful shot over the balloon. Presumably, we're just going to deconstruct this. I'm going to just talk this through. If you want to watch it, you can just go watch it. Beautiful shot over this balloon. One of the tricks that I know for a fact Johnny uses is that they're shooting in 4K for the slow-mo, and I believe they use a Red Komodo 6K, he said, for the regular shots, and then the one shot was a GoPro shot when he flew through the car. So he's shooting in 6K much of the time, 4K the rest of the time, and that means he has a lot of latitude to push in. Did they release this in? Yeah, they released this in 4K, but they got a lot of room to push in, and he does this. A lot of his shots where it looks like he is super, super close to the vehicle, I feel like he can't possibly be that close, and they're pushing in, they're cropping in, zooming in. So watch for that. Watch for that. It is interesting. I just noticed that there's a little bit of a. Why are we see we're scooping out here? That's an interesting move. What's going on there? We're actually kind of scooping away right there. Now we're flying towards. I don't know what's going on there. Over. See, here it feels... Doesn't it feel like the quad didn't get that close to the balloon? Like we zoomed in there a little bit with some keyframes? Right here. Whoosh, we're pushing in here and we're zooming in, it feels like, to make it look like we passed way closer to the balloon than we did. That's a really good trick, and he uses it. It's so seamless. So we come over the top here, and we've got the track. It doesn't feel like this is an FPV drone shot. I could always be wrong, of course. But you see how we just kind of hover here? So my gut feeling, and by the way, I fully acknowledge that I'm probably wrong about all this stuff. I fully acknowledge I'm going to look like a fool, but let's just watch it and I'll talk it through, and then You know, then maybe somebody will come out and say, hey, he's wrong, and then more information will be out there. It feels to me like maybe that shot was an FPV shot, and right here, maybe we have like a Mavic or something, a camera drone shot, because you see how it just levels out and freezes? Like an FPV drone doesn't feel like it could get this shot. It would be falling if it was pointing down. So I think they did a switch there. Now, this to me feels like an FPV drone shot because we're diving in to get close to the car. Just the color grading on this is immaculate. It is immaculate. Immaculate. Ainsley Israel says, watch out for the green-eyed monster. You're accusing me of being jealous. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not jealous of anyone. I'm just a hater. You don't have to be jealous to be a hater. Bubby thinks it might be an FPV drone. It's just some slow-mo. Could be. The color grading on this is so good. The color is so good. I just can't say anything except keep saying that. It's so good. We've got these rooster tails coming up. There's been a lot of people micro-analyzing the dirt and dust and wondering whether some of this is CG. But I don't think so. It just looks like rooster tails to me. Brilliant. Freaking brilliant. Great flying. These transitions are so fun. I've freeze framed these transitions. You can do this in YouTube by using the angle bracket keys, the period and comma keys. Check this transition. I'm going to frame forward it. It's so good. Now ask yourself, is he this close to the car? Or are they zooming in? Don't know. There's another shot later that I think reveals something. Here comes the transition. Watch how close this transition is. Here it comes. Boom. Like, if you look carefully, you can kind of see the fade where they don't quite match up. But, oh my God, it's so close. This transition is bonkers how good it is. Bonkers how good it is. It's so good. So again, right here. I mean, if this was like a GoPro or something, we would be 6 feet from this car. It's ridiculous how close we would be. How'd they change the sand to snow? I mean, they just fake. It's just like a very good crossfade, it feels like to me. Right? MPFPV says there's no way you could manually frame it that closely. I mean, the thing is, I've heard people saying this whole thing is CG. Like, none of it's real. I don't think that's the most likely explanation. Like, they say, how do you change the sand to snow? Look at the sand down at the wheel. And there we go. We've just crossfaded to a tire, right? There's no snow there coming off. It's just a really good crossfade, I think. As far as the framing being dead on, I really feel like that's just a matter of practice and precision. That's what I think. I think they just did it. That's totally plausible to me. One of the things that Penn Jillette says about magicians and magic is that I'm going to misquote him, so I apologize, is that the key to magic is that magicians are willing to put in way more time than anyone would think to get this tiny little aspect of the trick right. And they just practice it until they can do it. So I feel like, you know, is this whole shot fake? Or did Johnny just learn to fly the line? I think he just learned to fly the line. And then the other thing you can do, and I've done this when I'm trying to match up scenes, is you find the frame where they most closely match, and that's where you do the transition. Carbon Cage, they shot one in Sweden, I think, and one in the Middle East. They had identical tracks built in Sweden and the Middle East, and they shot them. I think at different times. Color matching on the car is ridiculously good. Here we go. Coming around. UAE, yeah. There. So this shot, I think, when I saw this shot, I thought, is that how far? Because are we looking at a zoomed in version of the exact same shot? Right here. And then we pull out, whoosh, to here. To me, I think that's the exact same shot. I don't think this looks like two different shots composited. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Is it the same shot? And is that how far the drone really is from the car? Or is that a different shot that they cut to? You can see the quadcopter in the window reflection. Can't you? That's insane. Where can you see it? I mean, that would definitely show how close it was. You can see the quad mirrored in the front window. I don't know. I don't know if I can see that. Yeah, looking at it frame by frame, I'm not convinced that that's the same shot. Because you see the red of the car come in, right there. That's the... Yeah, it's at a different angle, isn't it? You're right, it's a different shot. That is so clever. It's not just zooming out the same shot. Amazing. They're saying it's in the passenger window and you can see it. Sorry, the chat's too slow. The chat's a little bit behind. You can see it in the passenger window. For real? Chat, if you start saying, oh, you can see it there, it's going to be too late. I'm looking. Oh my God. There it is. Wow. Okay. Wow. He really is that close. Wow. Oh my God. Well, there you freaking go. There's the drone. There it is. That's insane. That's how close. Wow, he really did that move. All right, let's zoom back and watch that move at real speed. He's really just that close. Okay. All right, so now we zoom out here. And we do a little zoopity zoop. Back to the car. You definitely see some zoom in and zoom out as the stabilization. That's insane. If he's like, some of the shots down near the tires and stuff are just ridiculous. I wonder. I would love to know why the caribou aren't running. We got that. There were people who were saying that looked like CG. That's just stabilized. Like, why would you CG that? Just go get some camels. No reason to CG that. Just get some camels. Big deal. And then that's just stabilized. I feel like that was a transition there. A very nicely hidden transition. Right here when we dip below the horizon. It feels to me like right here, this fade line, we're transitioning to a different shot. That's my gut read there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That would save them having to sync up the cameras with the driver. Maybe not. This slow-mo dirt also confused people. They explicitly denied that this was CG dirt. That he's just flying through the dirt. They explicitly denied that. You can, if you frame by frame it, you can literally see pieces. There's a transition. You can see pieces. Can we go back? Hitting the camera and then going away as he flies through it. So like here, this clod of dirt right here, watch. Bonk. Where did it go? I don't know. Did it just slide off? I guess. Crazy. I guess with an X8, You can fly through a little bit of chunky stuff. Slow-mo dirt flying. Again, you got to ask, Occam's razor, which is more likely? That they made CG dirt, or they just frickin' flew a quadcopter through a rooster tail? Keep going. Crazy. Crazy. Just crazy. Nice transition there, too. Little backflip transition. Through the car. Again, people are like, oh, did he fake that? No, he just did it enough times that he got it. Did he do it on the first time? Did he do it? I don't know. But yeah, he just flew through the car. It's a great move. But it's not so impossible that you have to believe that they faked it. Swish. Got some slow-mo here. You can almost see a difference in the color grade when they're using the slow-mo cam versus the Komodo. Well, nice dive down here. Very nice. Love this slow-mo dirt, watching the dirt come off the wheels. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That shot really confused me. If we go back. Bannister Post says, how many times do you think a crew in a stunt car are going to do that? I don't know, man. They're there to do the shot, right? It said that it took them 6 months to film this. I don't think it took them 6 months of driving. But, the whole point of this video is to get these shots. So I feel like they're going to do it until they get it. That's right, Bubby. That was a 5-inch, not the thick. Through the window was the 5-inch. So this shot confused me a little. So here we are, pacing the car from the front. Okay. And we come this way and flip over. So close. It really feels like we're pushing in here, like we're zooming in. It just doesn't feel like it could possibly be that close. And here, now, we've changed the entire field of view of the camera. So the camera's much narrower field of view here. And beautiful. 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 Just beautiful. The editing is so good, too. I mean, I don't know how tightly they storyboarded this for shot by shot versus just letting Johnny go ham and then finding ways to edit it later. A lot of the shots were obviously planned, like the transition between the dogs, but exactly where he was going to be, I don't know how tightly it was planned. Then obviously that's reversed. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Brilliant stuff. There you go. Got a little react there. It's so tough, man. If you're gonna watch that and you're gonna be like, oh, this was fake, it's true. It's risky. It's risky. So it's whatever you say about it. Let me tell you this: if the whole thing was CG, it would still be an amazing piece of something, right? But realistically, Johnny probably flew most, if not all of that. MPFPV, yeah, they built an identical track. That's absolutely true. I guess what I'm curious about is the specific cuts and the specific shots. How tightly were they planned, I guess is my question. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's brilliant. It's insane. So, there you go. Very good editing. Whoever's Johnny's editor is always... Johnny's editor and colorist have always been just top notch. So very good. Yeah. All right. It's one of those things where I believe that most of it is real, whatever that means, because I know what quads can do, and I know that you can just get those shots if you're a good enough pilot. There's no need to fake them and risk them looking like crap. Like, if that's CGI, it's immaculate. It's immaculate. It's like so good. And there's no reason to risk getting bad shots by like faking them. I think that stuff is fundamentally legit. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that some of it had been dressed up a little bit in some way, but in general, I think the raw footage is there. Anyway, there you go. I wonder if he actually uses his LUT, says Bubby FPV. I mean, I would think for a job like that, you would custom grade every part of it, right? Why would you use a LUT? You're going to have a color grader, and they're going to do it originally. Dungo Chops, thank you for a $20 super chat. What are your thoughts on KISS? Thanks for teaching me 99% of what I know about FPV. FetTech makes good hardware, and KISS flies really good. It's possible to get a good tune on Betaflight. It's possible to get a good tune on EmuFlight, Flight 1. They all can fly well, and you can find people who have had good and bad experiences with all of them. So for every person out there who says, Betaflight's so hard to deal with, I'm leaving it, I'm going KISS, I just put KISS on my quads and they're amazing. There's people out there who are like, KISS is pissing me off, I'm switching to Betaflight or EmuFlight. So there you go. KISS is great. It's not my first preference. One of the reasons is just I like the variety of hardware that I get with Betaflight. With KISS, you're in the KISS ecosystem, and that's what you use. So, Birgir Ivarsson, thank you for 3,000. I know they're kroner. Icelandic krona. Icelandic. We don't see a lot of Icelandic krona. Thank you for 3,000 of them. I recently bought the Skyzone Skyo 4X goggles. Why are my OLED screens so much worse than my old Skyo 2X? Sometimes I get only black screen, but my screens flicker. It sounds like you have defective goggles, man. The screen shouldn't flicker and you shouldn't get black screen. Contact Skyzone support about this. I think that you have a defective goggle, so. I mean, flickering, black screen, that sounds like defective. Miguel T, thank you for a $10 super chat. I got a newbie question. I'm upgrading my all-in-one ESC to 25 amps from 12 amps. For an 1103 6000 kV burn motors, I burned 2 sets already on the HX115. I think it may be a resonance issue. If you're burning the motors, upgrading the ESC won't help you. Upgrading the ESC would help if you were burning the ESC. The HX115, do you have the stock tune, or did you put my hyper-aggressive tune on it? Because that would explain why you're burning the motors. The stock tune shouldn't burn motors. On the HX115, I believe if you're running it on 4S, you're supposed to use 2-blade props. If you're running it on 3S, you can use 3-blade props. But some people say just don't run it on 4S at all. That may be why you're burning the motors. Those are some thoughts. Vladimir Kovalenko, thank you for $10 super chat. I exploded my ProTech 35 ESC. I didn't save. Oh, we already got you. We got you. So we're caught up. Chris Cameo, thank you for a $5 super chat. Any updated 3D printer recommendations, or is the SVO1 still the one to get? Any more 3D printing content coming? Sure, Chris. The SVO1 is still my workhorse. Obviously, the right one to get depends a lot on your budget, and there's always new things coming out. So I couldn't say for sure that the SVO1 is the one to get today, but I feel like it's a safe bet. I am working on some new 3D printing content. I've been upgrading my Ender 3 to a Hemera hot end. I upgraded the main board, I upgraded the hot end, and now I'm getting it all dialed back in and working. And once I've got my Ender 3 working, then I'm going to upgrade the Sovol and make a video about it. I didn't think there was much point in making a video about upgrading the Ender 3 to Chimera, because there's like a zillion of those videos already made. But the Soval hasn't been made videos about. So, yeah. Get out of here, fly. So there will be more 3D printing content coming. Some. I try not to go crazy about it because it's just not my area of specialty. But yeah, looking forward to the Chimera hot end. Getting it working. DocOck100, thanks for a £5 super chat. I'm a lonely single man with no children and nothing going on in my life. Would you be able to take 30 minutes to explain what someone else could in 120 seconds? I have no idea what that means. Would you be able to take 30 minutes to explain what someone else could in 120 seconds? Thank you for your donation, DocOck. I don't really understand it. Greg's Maker Corner says, time to go Core XY. Yeah, Core XY certainly is a great geometry for a 3D printer and can print super, super fast. The disadvantage is, like, what's the basement price for a Core XY? The last time, when I did the review of the Soval SVO3, which is a large format, I think it's like 400 or 450 millimeters square, if I remember right. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. It's a large printer, and it's Cartesian. And one of the problems with the SVO3 is you've got this big honkin' bed, and then you've got rollers on the center, and, of course, there's a lot of room for the bed to tilt. Now, that's always true with Cartesian, but with smaller beds, it's less of an issue. So I said, if you're looking at the Soval SVO3, you probably should be, if you want a large format printer, you probably should be looking at a Core XY, because on a Core XY, the bed just goes up and down, but it's fully supported. And the cheapest Core XY I could find was like $600. Yeah, Greg's Maker Corner agrees. Like, the cheapest Core XY, like, is going to start at $600 and go up. So a lot of people just don't need that size volume. They don't need the speed of a Core XY, and they don't need the price. You could get a very, very good Cartesian printer in the $200 to $300 range. The Soval SVO1, I feel like, is a great printer in the $200 to $300 range. If you want to upgrade it, you can. You don't have to put a $150 Chimera hot end on it, but you can. But I think you can get really good results. And speed, I mean, in some sense, 3D print speed is just a game of one-upsmanship. It's just like doing it to prove that you can. I mean, at the end of the day, unless you're trying to run a printer farm, it's not super critical, or unless you're doing like really big prints where the difference is, 10 days versus 7 days. For most people who are just banging out quadcopter parts, you print 30 millimeters per second, get a 250 by 250 bed, and just, get on with your life. So, Core XY. I'm tempted, though. I was tempted. I was like, ooh, get a Core XY. Thank you, ES, for a $10 super chat. I have your JBF7 flight controller. I can't update the firmware. It says no data flash chip found. No data flash chip found doesn't mean anything. It just means your flight controller doesn't have a data flash chip. Data flash chip is for black box logging. It has nothing to do with your ability to flash the flight controller. That error message means nothing, so don't worry about it. I have your JBF7 flight controller. I can't upgrade the firmware. So, I mean, you need to be able to put it into bootloader mode and flash it, and you may need to mess with your Windows drivers. My guess is something's up with your drivers. Probably you should email me to get help with that, because it's going to require some back and forth. My 3D printers are pissing me off today, I'll tell you. So the Chimera, I just solved an issue with the Z-axis binding on the ender with the Hemera. And the issue, there were two issues. One was that I had the elliptical nut on the X gantry too tight. So it was reducing the amount of sag on the gantry, but it was binding as it tried to go up and down. I loosened the elliptical nut just a little bit, reran the calibration cube, print, and it was fine. So like, great. But the other thing that happened was, so I loaded the PLA into the Hemera, and I went to print. And I loaded the PLA, I extruded, PLA's coming out the nozzle, and then when I go to print, the PLA stops extruding and boop, just pops right out. It's like the extruder, it's almost like the extruder like rewound. But I don't know, I was like, what the heck is going on here? So I'll have to dig into that because I don't know what the deal is. And then, so my Soval, right? My Soval is my workhorse. I'm not screwing around with it. I went to print a antenna holder for a quad, and as I load the filament, it like won't go into the hot end. It's coming out the other side of the hob gear, out the back of the extruder, and no matter what I do, so I think I have a jam in the hot end of that stupid thing. Woods FPV, no, the extruder is working. That's the thing. The extruder on the Hemera, on the ender, it will extrude. It extrudes just fine. If you do move axis and you extrude 20 millimeters, it comes out fine. The motor is going the right direction. But then as soon as I actually go to print, then for some reason it goes the wrong direction. It spits it out. You don't think that there's something in that G code, do you? No, because I printed that exact same print. The G code is fine. I printed that exact same print and the G code was fine. Damn it. I have poison ivy on my arm. I've been doing yard work. I'm doomed. Yeah, Greg's Maker Corner. We have the stepper motor current at 1 amp. The Hemera says 1.3. No, the thing is, this exact print printed fine last night. So it's not the G code. Anyway. So I got to figure that out. I don't know what it is. I got to look at it. Everybody's saying it's the G code. It's not the G code. TJ Richardson. Maybe you're right. Does the G code have a retraction? Oh, that may be. Maybe. Because I pasted in the purge line from Cura on my Soval. I bet it does. Oh, you guys are so smart. Let's look at it together. Now we're talking about 3D print. So I pasted in the purge line here. Is there a retract in here? I can't. Is there a retract in here? Huh. I bet if I take this start G code out, it'll print again. Which of these things is causing it to retract? Line 1. G17. That just moves the Z-axis. Where is it? Tell me where it is. I'm looking at the chat. No, I don't think there's retracts here. TJ Richardson, it does not draw the purge lines. It basically, I mean, what I haven't done is look at the extruder motor to see if it is literally retracting. I haven't done that. It doesn't print the purge lines though. It like begins to print the purge line, and the purge line kind of ghosts out. The minute it actually starts to print, it spits it out. There you go. Oh, E30, draw the second line. Is that it? And here's E15, draw the first line. E and a number is retraction. I see. Oh, wow. I'm really lucky that I haven't jammed the Hemera. You're not supposed to retract more than like 2 millimeters on the Hemera. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you guys. We're talking about two different things. Bad for life. It's my Sovol that is extruding and looping around the gear. This is my ender. So basically, the problem here is that this start G code isn't going to work for the Chimera because we're retracting. We need to get rid of these retracts. Fair enough. Let's put an E1 there. Let's do a 1mm retraction and a 1mm retraction there. Excuse me. That should fix it, right? Is that going to fix it? Chat? Frank Nichols, I guess it's not the same G code. I guess I added this. I guess I added these purge lines. I swear I printed this before, but I guess not. I guess it's not. Squishy says E and a number are the print. I mean, what is G1 in Marlin? Linear move. Let's look. Where's E? E is an extruder move. It seems like E is an extrude, not a retract. Yeah, that seems like legit. People are saying retractions are negative. Those are not retractions. Well, if there's a retraction, we'd see it right here, wouldn't we? All right. Thank you. Yeah, that seems legit. That seems right. E with a negative number is a retract. Control Z, Control Z. Yeah, that's the first line, is move and extrude. Move and extrude. Anyway. I don't know the answer. I'll have to keep fiddling with it. But thank you guys for your help. We'll go ahead and get back to talking about FPV. But yeah, this calibration cube is a custom generated G code made by Teaching Tech's website. And I just put this purge lines in just to get it started. So I don't think there's any retracts here. But anyway, slicer doesn't matter. Slicer doesn't matter. Kaiser Soze wants to know why I still use Cura Slicer, because I get good results with it. What can I say? I tried Prusa Slicer once upon a time. I could not get my first layer to stick. My layer height must not have been right. I tried every setting I could think of. I asked for help. No matter what I did, when I sliced with Prusa Slicer, the first layer wouldn't stick. I was like, okay, well, I'm going back to Cura. I get good results with it. That's the bottom line. Anyway. Morton Upshot wants to know if he should get the Eachine Novice 4 as a first FPV kit. Let's put the Eachine Novice 4 up here. Let's put it up here. Just as a a visual aid. Here's the thing about the Eachine Novice 4 kit. The radio is very good. The goggles are a great starter goggle. They're not like amazing goggles, but they sell for about $100 and they're well worth that. And they're a great first goggle. These are amazing choices. The quadcopter is a solid quad, but it's not the best first quad because it is not durable. These micro 4-inch quads are not super durable. These arms break super easily. So as a beginner, you're going to take this out, you're going to crash it, you're going to break the arm, and then what? So I'm really torn about this. I love that they're finally giving you a radio and a goggle that are not just total garbage like most RTF kits do. But unfortunately, the quad, I just don't feel like it's the best choice for a beginner. Because it's going to break. It's going to break. It's not made to crash. Anyway, so I'm torn on it. I wish they would do the same kit with like a more durable 3-inch as opposed to this. This is a good quad, don't get me wrong. It's just not the best first quad for you to start with. So like, yeah, I mean, that's a great idea, MK. Buy this kit, get the TX12, get the goggles, and then buy a tiny whoop. And use this stuff with the tiny whoop. And then later, when you become a better pilot and you don't crash all the time, this will be a solid quad. That's not a bad idea. Can you just buy some extra arms? Yes, Kyle K, you totally can. You're going to be replacing them a lot. Because as a beginner, you're going to crash a lot. People are still debating the slicer settings. That G-code, I'm not going through a slicer, guys. I'm not using a slicer. There's no slicer. That website generates the G-code to print the calibration cube. There's no slicer. The NG code can't matter, Josh, because the filament comes out at the very beginning of the print. So we could look at the actual G code. Oh, you guys are going to suck me back in. That's okay. What was it? Teaching tech. You guys are going to suck me back into this conversation. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend just a few more minutes. This is on the baseline print. And here it is. Here's all my settings. What we're going to do is we're going to download the G code, and we are going to oh, it's already there. Oh, perfect. This is the actual G code from last night. I'm going to edit it with Notepad++. We can look at the actual G code. All right. What do we got? What's this M82 doing? Squishy, all I can say is that's the start G code that I use. Let's take a look at Cura. That's the start G code that I use. And this part doesn't work. So here we are. Manage printers, machine settings. So this is Sovol specific stuff. So I skipped that. And I came right to here, G29. So I started right here with this G29 and took the rest of it. Where's yeah. What's M82? E absolute. Oh yeah. Anyway. See, it doesn't, I don't think there's any, I don't see any retractions. G29E0 before the first G1 move. Interesting. Yeah, what's that going to do? What's G29E0? So I got to learn all these things. Pretty sure. G92. Oh, my mistake. Huh. New extruder position. Okay. No G10s. Nope. Just straight to G1s. There's your G92E0. You think I need... Oh. Do you think I need a G92E0 here? Because we're doing absolute... Is it that we're doing absolute extruder position? Is that what M82 is? Yes. Is this the right answer? We're doing absolute extruder position. M82. So then we do not G29E0 here. So when it says go to E15, Huh. It doesn't just spit out 15 more millimeters. But there's no other extruder moves before then. Anyway. All right. Moguia FPV says he's got it. The G1E1, that doesn't matter. Because this, it's already screwed up here. It's already screwed up during the purge line. The purge line doesn't print. That's my point. The problem exists here because the purge line doesn't print. Anyway. Okay. We could talk about this more offline sometime, folks. Let's get back on. Hey, Siati. Siati's in the chat. Hey, Siati. Hey, Siati, look at this. Aww. I'm working on it, Siati. I didn't send it out. Squishy, I'll try putting a G29E0 before. The thing is, I swear to God, this same... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's not this G code. I bet it's this thing that screwed it up. Let's put a G92E0 at the beginning, and we'll try that, and we'll get on with our freaking life. Okay? All right. Let's get on. Let's get back to talking about quads. Kenneth Davis, thank you for a $5 super chat. Thanks for the video on getting quads out of a tree. The water bottle and rope idea is killer. Glad you like it, Kenneth. I didn't come up with that idea, by the way, and I'm not going to be able to credit the guy who showed it to me. It was at the Chicken and Rippin' race that was put on here in Tennessee more than a year ago. The race was called Chicken and Rippin', and I was prepping for that video, and this guy had this big, long string of rope and a water bottle, and I was like, that's a great idea. I'm stealing that. Nathos Pipes, thank you for $7.65. If you want to make a video on how to set up, flash, and bind 2.4 gig Express LRX, many would enjoy. Thank you, JB. Yeah, maybe so. Jumper T-Light, an EP1 receiver. Interesting. Thank you, TJ Richardson, for your help with the G code. I'm not sure we found the answer, but I do think, now that I think about it, that it's not the same G code that I printed, and that this purge is probably what's screwing it up. So, yeah, that's on me. MK, thanks for a $5 super chat. No do tuner changes after a battery change. It just flies up after throttle. Did that twice. Flight controller's now dead. Well, I suggest you start by changing the flight controller. Not to sound like a smartass, but nothing changed. Then it started flying to the moon, and now the flight controller's dead. Let's just, like, statistically, it seems like your flight controller was dying, and now you need to replace it anyway, so you might as well just replace it. Miguel T, thank you for a $10 super chat. DD Tango 2, not liking Crossfire. Lots of issues with multi-bind, etc. Is it worth buying FreeSky receivers? No. And downgrade firmware using Airlinks is not planning on buying FreeSky transmitters. Sour taste from FreeSky. No, don't buy. Why, if you own Crossfire, would you buy FreeSky receivers? Don't do it. Don't. Go to Tracer, go to Ghost. Don't go to... Yikes. No. I'm gonna add a G29E0 at the beginning of that. I bet that's what's screwing me up. Okay, moving on. Like, you got issues with multibind. Multibind is not it's a beta feature. Multibind is not fully released yet. So yeah, there's issues. Assume multibind doesn't exist. Crossfire is really solid. I don't know what issues you're having. G92. I'm sorry, guys. I keep saying 29. I put G92. No, this has nothing to do with Cura. Techie G Quads, and everyone else who keeps asking about my Cura profile. This has nothing to do with Cura. Cura is not involved. This website is generating the G code. There is nothing. That's the whole point. Cura is not involved. Oh my goodness. I'm going to shout it from the skies. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Christopher Osterman, for a $20 super chat. Can't thank you enough for what you do on the daily. You're an amazing force when it comes to education and entertainment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind. The URL for this page is, but you're not going to see my start G code because it's per user. Okay. We're caught up. I'm caught up on super chats. I'm caught up on Discord. I'm caught up on everything. Ethan Sherman wants to know, are there any good drone hardware being made outside of China? Yeah, like Brain FPV is located in Portland, in the United States. And get out of here. Sorry about that, guys. It's a fly. Brain FPV, located in Portland. And what about Dominic Clifton? SP Racing. I believe he's based in Spain. I think that FetTech manufactures in Germany. So, Hugo Hebert wants to know, what's the difference between the classic and the premium hoodie on your website? Hugo, I have to tell you, you know how like, I don't know if you watch Linus Tech Tips. They have merch line, and they have a buyer and a clothing specialist, and they develop all their merch, and they make sure it's all super high quality, and they take real hands-on. I don't do that. I just go onto Teespring. I go onto Teespring and I just upload the art, and I'm just like, yes, hoodie, t-shirt, hoodie. I honestly don't know what the difference is between the premium and the standard. Like, presumably the premium's better. But it's the same. It's a Teespring thing. So you would have to, like, ask Teespring. I don't know the answer. I just upload the art and check boxes. Nick Sebring wants to put a rocker on-off switch on his Hoda D6 Pro. Do you think there's room in there? I think that surely, right? Like, you could get a micro switch. You could easily get a little micro switch. I mean, granted, it needs to be rated. The thing is, you don't need like a very fancy switch, but any switch that's rated for AC mains is going to be huge. But I think you could do it. Alep FPV. Oh no, Alep. How much do you think a FetTech, Mr. Steel Apex, HDO, QX7 with Crossfire Light, and various other FPV gear may be worth thinking of getting out of the hobby? I'm really sorry to hear you getting out of the hobby, Alep. I mean, presumably you've got your reasons. What is it worth? FetTech, Mr. Steel Apex. Let's assume that this is all in excellent condition. Especially quadcopters, they go downhill fast. So let's assume it's all solid, okay? The quad, if it was brand new, how about this? Is it on FPV Exchange? Is anyone selling Mr. Steel Apex frame kit, Impulse RC, Alien, Mr. Steel? No one's selling the whole build, are they? Here we go. Bind and Fly 4S, Bind and Fly 6S. This is just a new one. This is not someone trying to sell a used one. Oh, well, maybe it is. It's in Hong Kong. Oh, no, this is just TBS. TBS is just selling this kit on FPV Exchange. Cute. That doesn't count. It's $600 for new. I think if it was in great shape, you could probably get $400 for it. I know that's going to piss people off to... Damn it. I know it's going to piss people off, but you have a brand new thing, new in box, barely opened. You're still going to take a hit on it just because why wouldn't they just buy it from the store? So I feel like if it's brand new, $400, $450 maybe if you find the right buyer. If it's beat up, you're getting down to $300 and below. That's how I would read that. I know people are going to be... It's really hard to sell used stuff and get what you think is a fair price. That's my experience. Fat Shark HDO, good condition. Those are going to have better resale value. They don't really go down very much. Fat Shark HDO, not HDO2, just HDO. $450 new, but they're out of stock. $350 easily. $960, but 720 resolution with a 37-degree field of view. I think you could get easily $350, maybe $400 for the HDO. There's some people who like the HDO better than the HDO2. QX7 with Crossfire. $75, $80. That's how I would read that. Johnny 5 says he just got some HDO for $250. I'm shocked to hear that, but I mean, obviously that's what you did. Seth Inman says I should have checked FPV Exchange. Why didn't I look? Yeah, good point. Wow, I may have really overestimated that. Fat Shark HDO, $290, $295. Yeah, it looks like there aren't many over 300. I wish I could get HDO2 out. $250. Okay, $250, $275. There you go. I'm really surprised they're going that low, honestly, especially these days. And that is worth pointing out. Somebody in the Discord joked, "Wait a month, and then you'll get more money for it." You're not wrong. Prices of everything is going to go up. So, get out of here, stupid flies. Ridiculous. I'm having my Mike Pence moment. Coast Productions says, I can't fly range. The quad is a DC-5 DJI air unit with 6 dB gain SMA antennas, DJI transmitter, and goggles. Crystal patch antenna at 50 megabits per second, 1200 milliwatt power. The bitrate goes down to 10 megabit per second at 200 meters. When you arm the quad, do you see unlocked? If you have temperature protection on, then the quad will not go to full power until it detects that you've armed. If you don't have it set up right, then it will not know when you've armed. And this is a common problem that people run into. So you think you've got it set to 1200 milliwatts, but it's actually only like at 1 milliwatt. So do you see VBAT in the lower right corner of the screen? And do you see unlocked when you arm? If not, then that's what the problem. You need to get the flight controller talking to the air unit. Now it's an iFlight DC-5. I can't tell whether it's a pre-build or whether you built it yourself. If you built it yourself, then that's probably the problem. Layman Board FPV says, don't add any code to the generated code. But he specifically says, here is where you can add a purge line if you want to. It's right there. He invites you to do it. So I'm down to do it. Huh. Interesting question. Always hath been. Says, I'm sick of my Beta 95X because I don't film cinematic shots. I just freestyle for fun. What's a good 2.5-inch freestyle frame that I could basically transplant into from the Beta 95X? Ciati, if you have a Beta FPV 95X, can you toothpick that? Could you take those exact same motors, everything, and put it in a toothpick frame with 2.5-inch or 3-inch props? I'm going to wait for Ciati to catch up. The chat's going to make some suggestions, too. Yeah, I feel like going to a 3-inch toothpick is the way to go. Johnny 5 suggests an Armatan Tadpole. Tiny Trainer? What is the Beta 9? Does the Beta 95X, if it's the V, does the V2 have the 1404 motors? You could do a Tiny Trainer. Kyle T emailed me asking what's the best way to clean your quad. I don't know, man. I don't clean my quads. I really don't know. I don't clean them. I can't be bothered. I clean the camera lens and then I go rip some more balls. Ooh, Ciati's mad at Armatan. Ciati says no Armatan until they cut their carbon correctly. What are they doing wrong with their carbon, Ciati? Do tell. Can you fit a Vista in the Tiny Trainer, Bubby asks. Bubby, not with the stock canopy, but there is a carbon fiber top plate you can, and with extended standoffs, you can stack a Vista, especially a naked Vista, in there. But no, you can't fit a Vista in the Tiny Trainer with the cool canopy. Rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle and a toothbrush. Okay, that's what they say. Crunked says, I heard the Flight 1 source code got leaked. Where do you hear that, Crunked? You got a source? You got a source? Philip Morris. Love your cigarettes, by the way, Philip. Thank you. Thank you for years of lung cancer. Philip Morris. Probably not that, Philip Morris. Thanks for $10. Thanks for all you do. I bought the Roma F4 Vistalis new from Race Day Quads. I installed it, and the camera, I'm getting throttle cut bobbles. Horrible. Tried all from your vid and from UAV. About to cry. The Roma F4? Yeah, the 4-inch Roma. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I also had weird bobbles and wiggles on that frame, and I said in my review, I wouldn't get it. So, yeah, that frame has a problem. I mean, you tried all the things, RPM filtering and all the other things to try and fix it, and it didn't fix it. I hate to tell you this. Get a different frame. It feels to me like that frame just has a problem. Ciati says Armatan orients their carbon north-south on their solid base plate frames so the arms are noodles. Ciati, far be it from me to disagree with you. I would never. But there's a common misconception, and it's not you, surely. There's a common misconception that you can tell which way the fibers run in carbon fiber by looking at the surface weave, which people who know about carbon fiber have told me is not true. So, Ciati, when you say that there's a given direction to the weave, how do you know what direction the weave actually is? I guess is my first question. Daniel M. says in UAV Tech's Discord, there's information about the drop. Oh, I understand. So yesterday, I got like 30 GitHub invites to this repo. Like my inbox was full of GitHub invites to this repo. And I thought, I don't, why, stop. Why are you spamming me? And I just deleted them all. Apparently this repo that I got invited to is the Flight 1. Oh my God, it's like, wow. It's Falco X Flight 1. The license, wow, someone dumped, like, holy crap, Flight 1 has been owned. If they got, wow. That's really something. I did not accept the invite to the repo. I'm not interested in being a party to sort of illegally leaked stuff. But I'll definitely read what other people said. I wouldn't know what to do with a GitHub repo to begin with. Looks like Mark Spat says the AI filter is just a dynamic notch based on FFT peak detection, just like Betaflight. Shocker. Shocker. Who could ever have... Okay. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. That's just your misinterpretation because you don't have the brain power to understand what's really going on. Maybe I should have accepted my invite to this freaking repo. I wouldn't know what to do with it. That's effed up, man. Who dumped it? Who leaked it? Does anyone know? Wow. Anyway, okay. Why did I get 30 GitHub invites? Max Whalen wants to know, how do you think the FPV Cycle Glide would work for your Xylo build? It would work great. There may be a few little fit-up issues. I built an FPV Cycle Glide because it was one of the leading contenders for me, and I think it would work great. It's a great frame. It really is. If you build an FPV Cycle Glide, pay attention to how Ciotti does it. He makes a couple changes, like using shorter standoffs, and definitely it definitely improves it even more. Oh, I see. Kenneth Davis says, if it's Flight 1's repo, then they hacked the admin account to send invites. Surely they didn't just... Let me look at my frickin' Gmail. Hang on. Yeah. No, it is not the Falco. I'm not going to show the invite. I don't know if I'm going to leak some information. But yeah, let's go look. Let's see. Repos. Clean Flight. Doesn't seem right. No, this is just Clean Flight. What are you inviting me to? Oh, you got a lot of stuff, Martin Willard. Martin Willard invited me to all of his repos. That's what happened. That's why I got 30 of them. Huh. Well, anyway, yeah, there's it's not the Falco X repo. It's this guy, Martin Willard, who somehow got the source. He re-uploaded the stuff or something. Would the light work well for a beginner? Would the Glide light work well for a beginner who crashes a lot? No. That's why it's the light. It's light. It's less durable. If you're a beginner who crashes a lot, don't get the light. Get the normal. Dungo Chops, thank you for a $5 super chat. What's the other main benefit besides range of Crossfire? Range and penetration is the main benefit. Okay, let's not, that's like saying, other than the ability to go from place to place very, very quickly and conveniently in comfort, what's the advantage of a car? That is the advantage. You just described it. Other than range, what's the advantage of Crossfire? Range is the advantage. Did you ever fail-safe free sky? Did you ever go behind a building and you lost link? That's why you want Crossfire or Ghost or Express LRS or Tracer. That's the benefit. The other advantage is lower latency. And in addition, many of them are easier to manage than FreeSky or FlySky. Things like firmware updates get a lot easier. So, yeah. Josh, thank you for a $10 super chat. I got a horizontal band going from 0 to 500 hertz at 80% throttle. I raised filtering. It didn't fix the problem. Motors are blazing hot. Bearings are crunchy. Josh, a horizontal band is wideband noise. A vertical band is frame resonance. Wideband noise up to 500 hertz. Dude, I don't know what would cause that. Like, what could cause extremely wideband noise? I really don't know. From 0 to 500 hertz, like, what that's, I don't even know where to start with that. That's so far out. Like, wideband noise in general is not very prevalent, right? The motors are going to make vibration at a certain frequency. The frame will resonate at a certain frequency, but what could make just tons of noise between 0 and 500 hertz? I don't even know. I wish Mark Spatz were here. Is Mark here? Mark, are you here? What do you think? He's not here. He's left. Yeah, it feels to me like this is, your gyro is failing or something. Like, I just don't know what could cause 0 to 500 hertz wideband noise. The fact that you have super hot motors also points to maybe a bad gyro. So, Technobabbler says, if I get oscillations on punch-outs, should I raise PD balance or lower PD gain? Technobabbler, if you have oscillations on punch-outs, it means that you're having high throttle P oscillation, which means you have too much P gain or not enough D gain. Your slider positions are pretty far off from the defaults. So you're pretty far out there, man. I wonder what you're tuning. But if you have oscillations on punch-outs, then you would want to either decrease the P gain or increase the D gain. If you were to lower PD gain, you would decrease the P gain, but you would also decrease the D gain. You might get rid of the oscillations that way. I would probably adjust PD balance to decrease P and or raise D. That's probably what I would say. Mad Hero FPV wants to know if the JBF7 can run iNav. There is no iNav target for the JBF7. One of the requirements for iNav is that the SDA SCL pads do not share a pin with a UART. I'm pretty sure that's a requirement, and the JBF7 doesn't meet that requirement. Phil from KC, thank you for a $10 super chat. You're the bomb. So my naked Vista just started losing all signal after arming. Seemed fine before arming. Tried a completely different quad. Definitely the Vista. Please help. If the problem starts when you arm, my guess is it has something to do with electrical noise from the motors affecting your power. So, I mean, you've got a naked Vista, so maybe you just fried it. But if you're powered from VBAT, maybe try powering from a regulator. That's what I would say. And a clean regulator. Maybe get like a third-party regulator and try that. Ooh, Bannister Post, great question. Bannister Post in the Discord asks, what are your must-have features to upgrade? Oh, good point. Jorge Jimenez answering Phil from KC's question. Phil, take the Vista out of your quad. Oh, you have the problem with motors. Never mind. It's the motors that are screwing it up. It's good before then. Never mind. I think it's your power source. Okay, Bannister Post. What are your must-have features to upgrade to Betaflight 4.3 when it's released? The must-have features are Ghost support. So you'll finally be able to run Ghost using the Ghost protocol instead of SRXL2, and that means you'll get telemetry, you'll get Lua scripts back, which currently Ghost users don't have. By the way, EmuFlight supports Ghost protocol today. Credit to them for that. I'm also very excited about the board alignment wizard and the motor remapping wizard. So long that we've waited for this, and that is really, really amazing. That is, by the way, and credit where credit's due, that's something that Falco X has had for literally years, and Flight 1 has had for literally years, is a motor remapping wizard and a board alignment wizard. So then there are some other things like Mouse FPV points out, P-term to anti-gravity. There are some other little tweaks that have been changed in the way that feed forward and RC input filtering works that people who are testing it say are pretty amazing. However, we've seen that all before, that a new version of Betaflight's coming. It's going to be amazing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So I'm waiting and seeing on that. But Ghost support, if you fly Ghost, is going to be great. And the motor remapping and the board alignment wizard is going to be great. Bubby FPV, Ghost does not work with Spectrum as far as I know. Ghost does not work with Spectrum as far as I know. When do you think Betaflight 4.3 will be released? Asks Bad Hero FPV. Man, I was hearing about Betaflight 4.3 back in like November, October of 2020. So I guessed that it was going to be, early first quarter 2021. I have no idea how it is June of 2021 and we still haven't seen even a release candidate of Betaflight 4.3. I can only, I'm going to say it, it's weird. It's weird. Something is going on. Now, I don't know what that is, but it feels like something's going on. Like it's been so long that feels like something unexpected has happened. So we'll have to see. I can't believe it's been this long. How long has it been since 4.2? When did 4.2 release? It was a long time ago. May 2020. Betaflight 4.2, I started making videos about it in May 2020. Hey! Oh, that's on Facebook. That's me. I was like, somebody re-uploaded my video. It was me. So it's been over May. It's actually only been a little over a year. That's actually, I thought that they were on roughly a 6-month schedule. Obviously, they're not really on a schedule, but Betaflight 4.1, October 2019. It was before that. No date on this announcement. Betaflight 4.1, November 2019. So Betaflight 4.1 was September, November 2019. Betaflight 4.2 was May 2020. So that's a little more than 6 months. June 2020. And now we're over a year. It's been a while. I'm surprised it took this long. I'm not sure what's going on. Bean Time, thank you for a $2 super chat. Who is Candace? And who... Sorry, Candace. This is always risky. Someone's like, hey, did you see Candace's new freestyle? Candace who? And now Candace is insulted that I don't already know who Candace is. Sorry. I don't know who you're talking about. Do you think digital cams will get good enough that GoPros and such won't be necessary? I mean, let me ask you this. Are there any other cameras out there that compete with GoPro? Any other action cameras? I mean, like, obviously, Red Komodo. If you want to spend $6,000 on a great big honkin'... Yeah, no. I'm talking about what else is there other than GoPro? The DJI Osmo. Okay. Really? Are we doing D's Nuts jokes? Is that it? Hey, Bean Time, if you want to do a D's Nuts jokes, you give me more than $2. You give me like, I feel like a D's Nuts reference is a minimum $5 super chat, but probably like more like 10. I mean, that's just my gut read. You're gonna D's Nuts me for $2. I'm kind of insulted. Can D's Nuts fit in your mouth? Thanks. Thanks, guys. Bean Time is a patron. He's in my Discord. He's also jacking me around on my Discord. Hey, it's your $2, man. Do whatever you want. Here's what I'm going to do for you guys. Betaflight 4.3 will not come out this month. It is not going to happen. Betaflight 4.3 not coming out in June of 2021 or July. Isn't going to happen. Nope. All right, you're welcome. Thanks, Bean Time up to... Thank you, Bean Time. Thank you for $10. All right, let's do it for real. You're going to give me $10. Here we go. Did you see Candace's new freestyle? Candice who? There you go. Toady RZ, you asked me this in email, I think. Toady RZ says, from 0802 to 1104, are they the same? No. No. Because 0802 is 8 millimeters by 2 millimeters, and 1104 is 11 millimeters by 4 millimeters. They're different. No, you cannot put 1104 motors on a 75 millimeter tiny whoop. This is the question that was being asked in email. You cannot put 1104 motors on a 75 millimeter tiny whoop and have it work. It's not going to work well. Oh my God, GemFan also speaks Spanish. I mean, they speak English, which is probably not their first language, so I shouldn't be surprised. I'm super impressed. I mean, I just take it for granted that, you know, lots of people around the world are going to speak English. GemFan also speaks Spanish. What other languages do you speak, GemFan Hobby? Show us what you got. Okay, so going back to the question about digital cameras being as good as GoPros, there are very few other action cameras that are as good as GoPros. So the idea that we're going to get an FPV camera that's as good as a GoPro, nah, probably not. I mean, who knows, but probably not. Especially because GoPro doesn't even seem that interested in making an FPV-focused action camera, right? They keep making them heavier. English, Spanish, Chinese, and a little Russian. Very nice. That's very useful these days. Can't believe I fell for Candice. Corals of Houston, thanks for a $5 super chat. Is there a list of must-have computer programs and tools when getting an FPV? I mean, I don't know that there's like a list. But obviously Betaflight, Emu Flight, if you're going to, whatever flight control software you're using, there's going to be a configurator. You'll probably be using BL Heli ESCs, so BL Heli configurator. Those are the main ones. If you have TBS Crossfire, of course, you're going to have TBS Agent X, which is used to update the firmware. Other must-have computer programs and tools. I mean, I have hang on a second. I have a folder. RC Utilities folder. Interesting. Oh, whoops, that's a mistake. Whoop, there we go. You can see what I've got in my RC Utilities folder. AM32 configurator, that's that open source. That's actually online now. I don't need that on my hard drive. BL Heli and BL Heli Suite and BL Heli 32. So you can configure BL Heli ESCs. Flight 1 configurator for Falco X. FreeSky firmware updater. I haven't used that in forever. We can delete that. iNav configurator. JSC configurator. That's also for ESC. So there's got a lot of different ESC configuration softwares, I guess. You don't need all of these. Just whichever one applies to your ESC. KISS GUI. That's the source code for my 3D printer. That's not really relevant. PID toolbox is useful for PID tuning, but you're probably not going to use that right out the gate. Xloader, haven't used that in forever. Used to use that to flash TrueD modules. Furious FPV TrueD. We can probably get rid of that. Ghost Updater. That's for Immersion RC Ghost to update the firmware. Impulse RC Driver Fixer. That's a must-have. If you're lucky, you'll never need it. And then Zadig, it does the same thing as Impulse RC Driver Fixer, but it's not quite as automatic, and you can screw up your drivers. So just use Impulse RC Driver Fixer. I would say the configurator for your flight controller, like Betaflight configurator, BL Heli, whichever ESC you have, the version of BL Heli that is used for it, Impulse RC Driver Fixer, and the updater for your control module. OpenTX Companion, that's a good one. Josh, thank you for another $10. I sent the wideband log we talked about to your inbox. We can look at it. I can't really promise you that I'm going to have much insight, I'm afraid. But let's look at it. Google wants me to log in again. Oh. Continue in a new Chrome profile. Maybe this will mean that I don't frickin' lose my... Oh, let's do this. Continue in a new Chrome profile. Yeah, let's do that. Then YouTube won't switch to a different... What do we... Oh, but then I don't have any... No. Oh, man. Then I don't have any of my... What? Default. Thank you. No, I don't have any... Oh. I mean, what about my plugins? That was a terrible idea. Oh, well. Oh, well, I can already see things are effed up. What's going on here? Okay, maybe it's just a little weirdness. Weirdness down at the... when you're idling. Let's look at gyroscaled roll. We'll start with the roll axis. We'll full screen this. You're logging at 1 kilohertz, so you're recording up to 500 hertz. That's okay. It would be better to log at 2 kilohertz. So you get up to 1 kilohertz, but this is the minimum. Usually when you see, let me go to roll. Usually when you see stuff like this, oh, hang on. I'm going to make it a little brighter. Usually when you see stuff like this, it just means you spent more time at that throttle position in your flight. It doesn't mean there actually was noise at that throttle position. I mean, if Chris Rosser disagrees with me, then I'm going to believe you, or Mark Spatz. Like, that's really weird. That's, or you have a bad gyro. The fact that you have super hot motors and this, to me, I mean, it's sort of pointing to a bad gyro. Ooh, well, ugh. Oh, God. This is your raw gyro? What trash. Oh, my God. Oh, man. I mean, Josh wants us to look at gyro filtered. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of you. This is just garbage. This is bad. This should not look like this. This should not look like this at all. Something is not right. This is messed up. This is messed up. Let's look at the regular gyro. Filtered gyro can be misleading. The filtered gyro, like, doesn't look that bad. But it's bad. This is really bad. Yeah, so something ain't right here. I feel like you got a bad gyro. I can't think what else would make wideband noise like this. If you had a very short flight, how long is this flight? It's minute 44. If you had a very short flight, sometimes you don't have enough throttle positions to fill in the chart, and so you see bands like this. That's not what's going on. Broken frame. The broken frame, would that cause wideband noise, though? I feel like that would change your resonance. Yeah. All right. It's that's pretty messed up. Thank you, Yoni Musher, for $1. Huh. Squishy7 says you can ignore those horizontal lines. The more problematic thing is all the color around the motor band. Yeah, the whole thing is pretty bad. So, replace the flight controller. Squishy7 speculates that that's a Lux F7. I mean, we could probably tell from the... black box log. The target is STM32F7X2. Is F7... It doesn't say the... what about the log header? No, it's a Mamba F722. It's a diatone. Okay. Now we know. Dang you. Don't do that. Oh, my God. Other profiles. Now I've really screwed it up. I've added a profile. No, I don't want a profile. Delete this profile. Yeah, delete my browsing data. Yeah, go away. Go away. Let me just switch profiles here. Yeah. There we go. Man mutters to self. Wait, no. Oh, you bastard. Google. Anyway, Google's messed up. Sorry. The live stream's almost over. Just going to mutter at myself while cursing at Chrome for a minute. Aaron Ciotti's going to be streaming at 10 p.m. And he's going to start posting the link to his stream if you guys want to stay up a little later. Andrew Power wants to know, thank you for $5 super chat. Can you do the hate comments? I did all the hate comments I have saved last night or yesterday, Tuesday afternoon. So I don't have any more hate comments. We could go to comments and we could go to held for review. There are no now. So there's no more hate comments for me to do. You saw them all, unfortunately. There we go. A Power said no. The problem, A Power, is I want all my accounts to be logged in with the same extensions and stuff. I just want YouTube to stop switching to my joshuabardwell.com account. I want YouTube to always be on my joshuabardwell@gmail.com account. And what happens is I go into Gmail and I switch to my other account, which has been deleted, but it'll come back. I'll log in another time. I switch to my other account, and then when I go to YouTube, I'm logged in as that account, which, I mean, makes sense, but yeah, I don't want that. Yeah. Okay. So I want my accounts to not know about each other, but to still have the same extensions. Mad Hero FPV, will not be doing any more like in-depth reviews of the Ender 3 Pro. I mean, I reviewed it. Has it changed? Do I need to update the review? Yeah. Yeah, TJ Richardson, that's exactly right. Because YouTube and Google are both the same account, when I switch in Gmail, it also switches me in YouTube. I don't like that. Anyway. Well, I'm not switching to Firefox, though, A Power. Right? I'm sticking with Chrome. Firefox. I don't. What's Firefox? It's probably Chromium underneath. They all are now. We're gonna wrap up, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thanks to everybody who left super chats. Thanks to everybody who commented. Thanks to the folks who helped me with my 3D printing G code. And thanks to all my patrons over in the Discord. One of the questions in the Discord that I missed was, when is your field charging roundup coming out? I handed that footage off to the editor today, so potentially tomorrow, but maybe Wednesdays, but this week for sure. Rounding up a whole bunch of different ways of field charging and sort of comparing them, pros and cons of each. So look for that and other great content on my channel this week. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the news with JB and It's Blunty. Definitely come out with that. Maybe we'll talk about this Falco X leak. But in the meantime, head on over to Aaron Ciotti's channel. He's going to be posting the link to his live stream. He's going to be repairing his FPV Cycle Glide. Ciotti, someday you and I should co-stream. Like, we should just stream at the same time, work on our quads, and I don't know, we'll talk about something, or we'll interact with the chat. Yeah, maybe someday. But for now, I am out of here. Good night, everybody. Happy flying. See you tomorrow.